week's edition of What's Driving Token Prices. I'm your host, Katie Talati, Director of Research at Arca. For those joining for the first time, I'm responsible for analyzing and identifying digital asset and blockchain opportunities for Arca's hedge funds. As part of our research, my team and I examine the market events and that act as catalysts for price change. Based on our research and market events over the past week, here are some notable token price movements and what we think drove those moves. Before we get started, this commentary is not intended to be investment advice, investment research, or an investment recommendation. Please consult your investment professional for your own circumstances. Well, things are pretty hairy out there this week, guys. So I'm going to just start with a couple, maybe more positive, I guess, things. And then we're going to go into the main story, which I'm sure, as you can assume, is all about FTX and Binance. So first up this week is Solana. So Solana, the Layer 1 blockchain, they held their annual conference called Breakpoint last week in Lisbon, Portugal. The project had a number of important announcents, including a partnership with Google Cloud, which is designed to make it easier for anyone to launch a Solana node in the cloud. Solana also announced that its Solana phone called Saga, which they announced earlier this year, is going to be powered by Helium's 5G network, and that's going to launch in early 2023. Solana initially rose 20% on this news, but is now down 27% for the week following the debacle with FTX, which I will get into more later. Next up, we have Arweave. I don't know if I've talked about Arweave on here, but they are a decentralized storage provider. They shot up at the end of last week when Meta, aka Facebook, announced it would utilize Arweave for storage of Instagram's NFTs. So for those who aren't familiar with NFTs, just like a little bit of kind of information, although the NFT asset itself might be stored on the blockchain, the metadata for that NFT are basically like the image or the backup date, basically the image of an NFT, especially if it's like a collectible. That's actually usually stored on something called IPFS, which is like the current internet storage protocol, which is like a centralized protocol. Because metadata isn't always properly backed up this way, a lot of the time that data can then unfortunately get lost as NFTs get transferred around to different exchanges in the NFT world. So what happens then is that basically Arweave has become like this really great solution in the last year for NFT projects on any chain to back up the metadata of those NFTs to Arweave. So even though Arweave is coined as a decentralized storage protocol, what they really are is a permanent version of the internet. And so their whole pitch is data permanence. So the cool part is that like pretty much every NFT that's been created as of late has had all their data has had all of their metadata backed up to Arweave permanently. So, this is a huge announcement from Instagram that they're going to be issuing NFTs, even bigger, that they're going to be actually using Web3 infrastructure to back up that NFT data. So long term, this should be great for Arweave, should it, increase the usage of their network. So initially, actually, Arweave shot up like 60% on the news. It's now up only 15%. But this should be, one project to watch going forward. All right, we're getting to the meat and bones here. I know you guys were waiting for this one. So this has been a bit of a saga. So bear with me as I try to run through all the moving pieces here. We got a 2-for-1 this week, FTT and BNB token. So starting last Wednesday, an anonymous report that was published on CoinDesk revealed that the balance sheet for Alameda, the trading firm closely tied to the FTX exchange, was mostly comprised of FTT, which is FTX's exchange token. This called into concern Alameda and by extension FTX's solvency. Following this report, the founder of the Binance exchange, CZ, tweeted on Sunday that Binance would be selling its $500 million worth of FTT. This was at the time. It's now not worth that much, which they acquired as part of an early investment in FTX. So a little history lesson. FTX essentially was kind of seeded and spun out from Binance as a creator of more like exotic crypto derivative products. Over time, they have really kind of risen to become a competitor of Binance. And although they used to have a very close relationship, a lot of people have speculated in recent years that like Binance divested their investment in FTX. That FTX is very much separate from them and, isn't necessarily working with them in any capacity. So Anyway, at the time of this announcement from CZ, the amount of FTT that they owned was around 15% of the circulating supply, and FTT isn't actually that liquid. So panic ensued, as many believed that the sell pressure would push down the price of FTT, forcing margin calls for any outstanding loans that Alameda owed. A bank run ensued where users began withdrawing funds from the FTX exchange. The exchange has actually lost $6 billion has seen $6 billion in outflows since Sunday. Simultaneously, large holdings of Alameda were liquidated to meet margin calls, and some believe withdrawals from the FTX exchange. So a lot of people have been spending the last several days tracking wallets, looking at assets leaving these wallets. There's several wallets that have been tagged as Alameda's that have been completely drained of their liquid assets, such as ETH, Bitcoin stables. And it's basically been kind of a rush to the exits, as they would say. So the entire market has basically entered a bit of a free fall as a result. The belief is that Alameda has been selling more liquid assets or larger holdings of theirs, which includes Solana, among other things, and a number of Solana ecosystem projects. With that free fall, a lot of users have scrambled to sell and withdraw assets from FTX. FTX finally halted withdrawals early Tuesday morning. So that was really when the panic started to really set in. Basically some of this was finally halted as Tuesday morning, or as Tuesday midday, Sam Bankman-Fried, the FTX founder, announced that a deal had been struck for Binance to acquire FTX. So we definitely didn't see that coming, especially after Binance potentially maybe tanked their token. Binance has confirmed that there has been an LOI in place for the deal. However, the deal is not yet done, and it's pending due diligence. And many are concerned that with the hole in FTX's balance sheet exceeding $1 billion, again, very much just hearsay, that the deal may not go through. And this could really cause quite a bit more market turbulence in digital assets. So just to give you guys an idea, FTX is currently down 78% on the week, and Binance is only down about 2.5% on the week. Like I said, this is an unfolding situation, so we'll keep you posted on how things go. But stay safe out there and enjoy the market. That's all I have for you guys this week. I hope you enjoyed our insights. Tune in here again next Wednesday to hear what's driving token prices.